Sound of Freedom is absolutely crushing it at the box offices, now topping $85 million. But why is the establishment threatened by Sound of Freedom so severely that they're always releasing headlines like this? Controversial hit Sound of Freedom. There's something devious going on. I think we'll get to the bottom of it. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Probably the most amazing freedom fighter I have ever met is Tim Ballard, founder of Operation Underground Railroad. You know what they do. And the movie Sound of Freedom was released on the 4th of July. It's about his life and his mission, which is the most important mission on the planet, in my opinion. But if it's the most important mission because it takes down the most heinous crimes that are against the most innocent people on the planet, children, why is Hollywood, why is the establishment so hell-bent on smearing the film and smearing Tim Ballard, discrediting the message, and accounting it all to a QAnon conspiracy theory? Now, we're going to hear directly from Tim Ballard in just a minute about his take on why he's being smeared and what he has to say about it. But first, let's take a look at a couple of the hilarious depictions of this atrocity of Hollywood and the mainstream media trying to smear and discredit Sound of Freedom and its mission as all a big QAnon conspiracy theory. First, they stick it to Hollywood very well with this meme. Hollywood confused by new movie that depicts child sex trafficking as bad. Yeah. Journalists stop by shelter to inform trafficked children they are a QAnon conspiracy theory. Good. Just make sure the children know that. Now, so many good people, they know what's going on. They know why it's being smeared, and they're speaking out, asking questions that absolutely deserve to be asked. Like, Hollywood, media, why are you trying to say what Operation Underground Railroad is doing? Like, they're not doing it, and the problem that they're solving isn't a problem. Why are you doing that? I want to show you real quick on Instagram the account of Russell Brunson. He's the founder of ClickFunnels. He's a person I know. He's a person of faith, just an amazing human, great family man. He's raised, I believe, millions of dollars for Operation Underground Railroad. And here you can see Russell Brunson shedding a tear on stage with Tim Ballard. Here's what Russell Brunson has to say. I'm still confused at how Sound of Freedom movie is considered controversial. Exactly. From someone who has spent a lot of time with Tim Ballard and our rescue team, Operation Underground Railroad, I have seen the inside. Yeah, Russell's gone on rescue missions. Seen it with his own eyes. I know the heart of this man. I have been behind the scenes of the missions. I've spoken to the parents of the victims who have lost their children. I've reviewed footage of actual missions and rescues as we created and launched the Operation Saint documentation. This is real. We are at war to save children. We need your help. So how can you help? And he goes on. But that's a good human who his platform, it's all business. I've never seen him speak out about any kind of social topic, but you can tell if he's raised millions of dollars for Operation Underground Railroad and he has 4 or 5 children himself, this strikes a chord in him for him to want to speak up publicly like this, which I love, and it's very warranted. I'm still confused at how Sound of Freedom is considered controversial. Yeah. And I just want to share sort of like some metrics of how freaking awake people are to what's really going on. The Sound of Freedom, it has so much attention, like we just saw. It's earned over $85 million at the box office, and that's after Disney bought the movie and kept it on the shelf for 5 years to make sure it's not released. Then it was eventually bought from another studio. But people are not only loving the movie, loving the mission that it exposes and the problem that it exposes, but they're very awake to the corruption of why the movie is being smeared. People, they're paying attention to that. So just this past Saturday, 3 days ago as of this recording, I released a newscaster video on the comedy channel, Why Elites Are Panicking Over This, and it's the Sound of Freedom. And it's already got over 750,000 views, which is pretty good for 3 days. People are paying attention to this corruption that's going on. And I can personally testify to the character of Tim Ballard. I've been with him in person. I've done a couple Zoom interviews with him. The most recent one you can find on my YouTube channel. because during the month of June through July 4th, us in the freedom-loving community, we headed up a fundraiser for Operation Underground Railroad. So if you want to click over to that video, which you can see here, you can hear from Tim himself about what they encounter, the problems they're solving, how they're doing it, and how big the problem is. And the problem is big. That's why they made the movie Sound of Freedom, because they want to bring awareness to it. Awareness, it's not the only ingredient, but it's the foundational ingredient for this biggest, worst problem on the planet to be solved and not to just to be ended. That's what we're looking for. So, looking at Tim Ballard, first before we hear from him, take a look at some of the smear attempts. The media, they're trying to discredit this man, to discredit the movie, to discredit the reality of the problem that his life mission is solving. Here they're saying, from what I've seen, I've become convinced this microchipping program is the only way to effectively protect our kids in the digital age. Get your kids chipped now. So I don't know if he's ever said that, yet the media is obviously using, if he did say that, spinning it in a way where he's like, hey, he's like Klaus Schwab. He's saying microchip everybody. So out of context at the very least and made up at the very most. And here you can see this is obviously someone's personal Instagram trying to discredit Tim Ballard. Tim Ballard wearing a Freemason necktie. He's definitely very active in the Freemason organization. Group with long history of false claims gets its Hollywood moment. A group with false claims, really. Operation Underground Railroad has spent years making big, often unprovable claims about its paramilitary missions and role in rescuing trafficked kids. Now a new hit movie may help solidify the myth. So they're literally saying the problem of trafficking, it's a false claim. And that Operation Underground Railroad is just living a myth, and they're strengthening that myth, strengthening the false claims with this movie. This person, Anna Merlin, you are protecting predators. What's it like to live with yourself? I'm curious. And then this is a great one. This is in Rolling Stone, ladies and gentlemen. The article is titled, Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brainworms. The QAnon-tinged thriller about child trafficking is designed to appeal to the conscience of a conspiracy-addled boomer. Okay, author Miles Cleave, I want you to know you are protecting predators. Good luck being able to sleep at night. And now let's check out Tim Ballard directly speaking to these heinous smear attempts from Hollywood and the mainstream media establishment that he posted on his Instagram 19 hours ago as of this recording.
It will never cease to amaze me how far the godless leftist media will go to run interference for human traffickers. They're throwing everything at me right now. By the way,
godless leftist media. That is accurate. That's not exaggeration.
I just saw a post that seems to be trending in certain places saying that I am in favor of putting microchips in children so we can track them. It's complete baloney.
Well, that answers that question.
I've never weighed in on that. I've never said anything. In fact, I'm very much against anything that would allow the government or others to control children. I just found out yesterday that I'm also apparently involved in trafficking. I run trafficking networks, or that I'm some Mason involved in strange Masonic practices. It's not going to stop. Expect every lie. At this point, I have been accused of everything.
By the way, yeah, expect the lies to not stop. That's well said. But here's the beautiful thing. The godless, leftist, demonic, evil people, they are revealing themselves. Just look at who's telling the lies about Tim Ballard, Operation Underground Railroad, and Sound of Freedom, and you will see evil people doing you a good service of conveniently revealing themselves.
But murder. So I want you just to expect more to come, including probably that I've killed people. Who knows?
So that's well said by Tim Ballard. And by the way, there's one other thing that Tim Ballard posted. This is, again, another article attempting to smear him. And you can see this is about a month before Sound of Freedom release. And I'm making an assumption this is an attempt to smear Tim. And it says, Tim Ray Ballard named in Southern Baptist Convention list of abusers. Was Tim Ballard listed in the SBC Abuse Investigation Report? So in the body of this Instagram post, Tim points out P.S. My middle name isn't Ray. So this is a completely different Tim Ballard that's being written about. So with that said, we're living in a time where you can't not choose. You are either choosing to stand on the side of truth and goodness, or you are choosing the side of evildoers. Crimes against children, there's nothing more evil on the planet than that. And not buying into their propaganda, being aware of it, that's the first line of protection against it. Speaking out is the second line of protection and strengthening the side that you're choosing to stand on. So with that said, my friends, you can tell I'm a little bit passionate about this. Just been educated so much on this topic by Tim Ballard himself. My family's made many donations to Operation Underground Railroad. I'm proud over the last 2.5 years, the freedom loving community, we've raised over $500,000 for Operation Underground Railroad. And I want you to know we're not going to stop. We're only going to raise more. In a few years, $500,000, that's going to look silly compared to what we raise to support rescuing children. Which, by the way, if you want to do a little something right now, one way you can support through direct financial contribution while simultaneously raising awareness, spreading the message. We've got these shirts in my Freedom Shop. Lions Protect the Innocent, Operation Underground Railroad. 100% of all profits from this shirt are donated directly to Operation Underground Railroad. So if you'd like this shirt as a way of spreading the message while having donations made, feel free to check it out at awakenwithjp.com. And with that said, my hunch is you're watching this because you too stand on the side of truth and goodness. And I want to thank you for it. And I'll see you next time, my friend.